I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K. I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K.
Fury fam and all the Miami Dolphins fans across the nation tonight, welcome to another episode of Larry, Lucci G, and Shake. We are here to sit with you and continue our therapy session that has been ongoing since post-game on Sunday, through the New Year's parties, through the drinking. And I'll tell you the truth, I tried my best to ring in the new year. My girl was here. We were drinking a little bit. We had some really damn good food, some shrimp that I drove all the way to the shore to get. My mother's homemade cocktail sauce, which is banging and spicy with a lot of horseradish, Tabasco, all that. And I still had a lot of trouble. I had a lot of trouble getting through my emotions and feeling okay and feeling balanced. I had still tossed and turned all Sunday night after I went to sleep after the ball dropped, tossing and turning, and just couldn't wait to get on the microphone and talk to you guys, which I did Monday. And I still got thoughts percolating through my mind. Revo, what's up? Deuce Goose. John from Seattle is in the building. It's been a long time, my brother, even though I've seen you on Finn's Tailgate, getting your feelings out a little bit. Dolphinier, what's good? Tuaside Hotline is in and ready to pounce. I expect nothing less from Tuaside over here, trying to get people riled up in advance of the Bills-Dolphins showdown on Sunday, which, by the way, unfortunately, I did tell everybody we were going to have to go through this showdown as soon as we lost to the Titans. And we know what's crazy is if we didn't lose to the Titans, we wouldn't have had to go through that. You know, just saying. There was a reason I was so damn depressed after that Titans shenanigan, because I knew this was coming. If you guys haven't done so, man, hit subscribe, will you? We have had close to 100 new subscribers since that debacle in Baltimore. The Baltimore debacle. That's what I'm calling it. What a nightmare. I told you, we got dragged from one side of the field to the other, tossed in Baltimore Harbor, just for good measure, dragged back up out of the harbor, put in a crabbing friggin' cage, thrown in with the crabs, fished out with the crabs, and made into crab cakes and then shoved down our throats. It was disgusting. Disgusting. I had enough of it. And, you know, I'll just briefly talk on a few things, and Tuaside watched my rant, says I articulated very well. Well, thank you, sir. I pictured that post in your West New York accent, which, you know, that's pretty, it's not a bad accent, I'll tell you. Great Lakes. But listen, here's the thing. I told everybody last year that there were narratives being pushed at the end of the season. I told you last year that they were pushing the narrative that the only issue with this team was Tua being injured. And if Tua just stayed healthy, then we would avert all the late season problems and the late season issues that this team goes through. And I told you that that was BS. I told you that there were issues that were deeper than the Tua injuries. I told you that this franchise, this team, for some reason, has issues at the end of the year. They've had them for 40 years. And you're not just going to shake it off by keeping Tua upright. And I only bring that up because, A, I was wrong about a little bit of that, right? In the sense that Tua and the team have played better than last year overall. However, I was right about the fact that we're still going to have issues that are recurring that we've now seen recur. And the reason I bring all this up is you are now starting to see another January and another steady dose of narratives and spin and nonsense coming out of different media outlets. Some people are jumping on the defense, and they should. Defense sucked on Sunday. But they're only jumping on the defense because they want to defend and preemptively divert your attention from the quarterback, who threw some absolute dimes on Sunday that were dropped, but he also threw 2 picks that were terrible. And it's not just the picks. It's the duck over Tyreek's head that made him almost bust his ankle again. It's the ducks in the middle of the field that should have been picked. It's the things thrown at the turf. It's the happy feet and the loss of complete mechanics once he got hit. But then there are people that just want to put it on the quarterback. They just want to put it on the quarterback for their own reasons because they never really liked the quarterback, which, by the way, I wasn't a huge fan of the quarterback coming in, but I've adjusted my analysis because I'm an objective human being, and the dude has shown me certain things and made a bit of a crow eater out of me because he's done things I didn't think he could do, but he still has his issues in the big games. And there are people that are going to want to point at the quarterback just to stick it to Tua on, just to stick it to the Tua ears, just because that's a battle they've been fighting for 2 years, 3 years. Then you got people that just want to blame the quarterback, because they don't want you to pay attention to the fact that maybe are near and dear, and apparently near and dear to several young women, even though I thought he said he was engaged for 2 years, but I ain't keeping score. Tyreek Hill, who we all want to believe is MVP, all want to believe is the best receiver in the league, but he drops some passes when the game's on the line. He has a little bit of Tua syndrome in him. And then people are only going to blame Tyreek Hill because they don't want you to look at the quarterback. And they don't want you to look at the coach. But then you have people who only want to talk about the coach. You know who the resident rabble-rouser, the resident mouthpiece is in this media sphere that we all operate in? Big O. What's Big O's new thing? And I'll tell you, as soon as Big O starts saying something, it starts little, it creeps, and before you know it, Big O's narratives start being everybody's narratives. Big O's narrative is, it's the coach, and it's only the coach. Big O's starting to plant seeds that you're going to have to get rid of the coach to keep Tua, because Tua's the guy, but McDaniels isn't, because he wants you to think, he was ranting and raving today that Tua should be allowed to call his own plays because McDaniel can't call plays as good as Tua. That's Big O's latest narrative. Beware of Big O's narrative blaming just the coach, because Big O is a mouthpiece for the front office. And the front office wants you to believe that Tua is the guy no matter what, and the coaches are the problem because the front office invested everything they could into Tua, and they don't and can't accept if he fails. But let me tell you something about the coach. Coach makes some boneheaded calls. He sucks at challenges. He's 1 for 10 on challenges. He sucks at timeout usage. You think Mario Cristobal sucks at timeout usage? Let me show you Mike McDaniel. In the opposite way. Cristobal won't use them to save his life. Cristobal treats it like a glass thing you can't break because it's the most emergency thing ever. He's hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't know what happened. But I got too excited. I started clicking things. But Mike McDaniel won't touch a time. I mean, Cristobal won't touch a timeout because it's like the Arctic oil reserve. And McDaniel's using it like you should just willy-nilly supply the entire country with it. Just timeout after timeout after timeout for McDaniel. Okay? The coach doesn't have his guys ready to play. Miami Sports, Big O cut my internet. You never know. Big O's got a lot of connections. Big O probably cut my monetization. I'm on to you, Big O, Orlando. And Cap, I love you too, bro. Thanks for that. But listen. And by the way, super chats are coming back. Donations and memberships are coming back, so be ready. Support this channel, man. We keep it real here. Give you something not everybody else is giving you, including exclusive original content like in the blender. But listen, the fact is, you could blame anybody you want, and you could blame nobody. They're all equally at fault. Nobody's narrative is the prevailing truth. Nobody's narrative is the prevailing answer to solve our problems. Our problems are cultural, and they are defined and re-emphasized and compounded over years and decades of issues and failures and dysfunction. And they are not going to simply be alleviated overnight by finding a scapegoat, whether it's the defense, the defensive coordinator, the GM, the quarterback, even Mr. friggin' Magoo himself is not fully at fault for this debacle that occurred on Sunday. And while Mike McDaniel is a clown for not taking Bradley Chubb out of the game, and that's going to cost us probably our Super Bowl run and a big chunk of the beginning of next year, that's bad luck. And if you listen to Mike McDaniel's press conference, it was because of the botched fumble on the play before that he didn't have time to tell the defense that the starters were out. They ran onto the field. He gets hurt. They should have said at the beginning of the fourth quarter, no more starters. That's his bad. That's his bad. But it's still bad luck. It's still also just plain old bad luck. And here's a dose of medicine that I gotta shove down your throat that you might not want. I can see the light. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, guys. If you're in the building, listen to him. Hit subscribe. Hit subscribe if you don't want narratives. You don't want nonsense. You just want the truth. You want your tough medicine. Hit subscribe. Join Fury Fam. Hit subscribe. Join this channel. Here's some medicine I got to give you. Here's some medicine. You know, when the dog doesn't want the medicine, you got to sneak it in cheese or something. Give it to him. Open the. I'm giving them. Do it to you guys. We're not changing anything, and we can't change anything because this is where we're at. Tua Tagovailoa is a top 5 quarterback statistically. You can't get rid of him and expect to replace him with somebody with a better chance to get us to the promised land. You're stuck there. And when you're stuck there, you got to just take your medicine. You got to pay him. Now, how much do you have to pay him? Well, that remains to be seen, because if he doesn't show up against Buffalo and he doesn't show up in the playoffs, he doesn't deserve the type of money that they're throwing around just because that's the going rate of top quarterbacks. You need to preserve your roster. Have you seen our free agent list? It's a nightmare. You got to preserve the guys that we need, because one thing Tua has shown you is that he needs guys around him who are very good to do his best, to be at his best. He doesn't need Tyreek. He did it with Waddle. Doesn't need Mostert. Achane went off for over 100 yards, but he needs good players around him. And that's okay. Every quarterback needs some good players around him. But if he's going to eat up money above and beyond what he produces, he's going to wind up producing less. But here's the thing. Tua is a top 5 quarterback. He's not the one so far who's proven he can perform in clutch situations. But you know who they said that about a couple years ago? Lamar Jackson. Then again, he won the MVP. He had talent outside of himself that Tua doesn't have, which running the ball. But he developed talent throwing the ball that no one really thought he had. I mean, he was on the trade block. So I'm not saying Tua is going to be Lamar. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when you're a franchise like us, and you're just going to have to take this medicine. You're going to have to take this medicine. You are not the Chiefs. You will not be the Chiefs. You are not Tampa Bay with Tom Brady. You are not Denver with Peyton Manning. You are a franchise just like the Ravens when they won it, the Eagles when they won it, the Rams, you tried to be. You're close. You didn't quite get there. You're the team that lurks every year at the top of the standings in the AFC. You get into the postseason every year, and most years you don't get it done. But one year, when you don't go through the litany of injuries we went through, and you don't have bad luck with those injuries at inopportune times, and when all of a sudden the stars align and Tua has the game of his career, and somebody like Mahomes has the worst playoff game of his career, you sneak in and you finally win one, and you might never win one. And you guys got to swallow that medicine. And you can go to another channel that's going to give you some alternative, organic, vegan thing, but I'm shoving the medicine down your throat because it's the truth. It's not the worst. You want to go back to never winning a game, to barely making the playoffs? We can do that. But I'd rather be here. But let's face it. My Miami Dolphins of my childhood with Dan Marino were the same damn thing. They had a great quarterback, great coach, then a second great coach. I know people don't like Jimmy, but whatever. We had good teams. You know what we didn't do? Win the chip, because we didn't have the team. You think that hurts? Go be a Bills fan. Get to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row, every time lose. They didn't quite have it either, but they were close. It is what it is. It is what it is. But that's the state of the franchise. Now, let me talk about, real quick before I bring the guys up, real quick, let me just tell you something. Season's not over. Now, I'm going to be honest with you because that's what I do on this channel, and you can count on me being honest with you because I'm not a BSer like some of these other guys. I'm going to tell you right now, we're not going to go to the Super Bowl. If we go, we're not going to win it. I hope somebody pulls this video up in a month and shoves it in my face and says I suck and I have the worst predictions ever. I'm a hater. I'm not a believer. I'm a scrub because we won the Super Bowl. That's what I hope. I wish it. Can it happen? Yeah, it can happen because we're going to the playoffs. So we can win the Super Bowl. Are we talented enough on offense to win the Super Bowl? Yeah. Yeah, we are. So the fan in me is not giving up, but the analyst in me is telling you that when you lose both your pass rushers and the way our offensive line has been screwed over, it's going to be real hard. I'll tell you this. The Buffalo Bills are coming to town this Sunday. And here's something else. Buffalo Bills, I'll give you a little hint. 2 things. 1, they ain't that good. 2, they kick the crap out of us most times. Both are true. So, is it likely that we beat them? They're favored for a reason. But is it possible that we beat them? Yeah. It's not going to be easy. How are you going to contain Josh Allen, Stephon? How are you going to contain these guys? Diggs, Allen, without pass rushers. Melvin Ingram's going to have the freaking beast game of his life. Ramsey's going to have to be ungodly. He's capable of doing it. Nick Needham. Hey, Fangio. How about you get a little creative? Call Nick Needham up to the starting lineup. How about that? How about Jones and Campbell? I don't know. Do something with them. Use them somehow. Be creative. Find a way to stop Josh Allen. And guess what else? Tua, Tyreek, McGenius. You're going to have to be at your best. If you lose the division title after being up 3 games with 5 games to go, it's unacceptable. And something's got to happen. I don't know. I don't care if it's something nonsensical or something that's just to appease the fans. Something's got to happen. Robert Trainer says, give Bonner a shot. I say, yes, give him a shot. Because Eli Apple ain't doing nothing. We can beat the Bills. But it's going to take a hell of an effort from these guys that we've been counting on that haven't shown up in the biggest games all season. All season. And without Chubb and without Phillips, that defense ain't going to do it for you. It's got to be the offense. And Christian Wilkins, you want to get paid? Well, you got to show up in the big games the same way Tua has to show up in the big games, bro. And by the way, if we don't sign AVG next year, we're dumb because we don't have Chubb or Phillips going into that season. We can win. And guess what we get rewarded with if we win? Now, we'll know. The good news is we're going to know. Before our game against the Bills on Sunday night, we are going to know who we are going to get if we beat the Bills. We could be playing the Bills just for another shot to play the Bills. They're going to pack their stuff and camp out for a week in Miami and kick it. And kick it. Because they may be coming back to Miami for the wild card weekend. And can we beat the Bills twice in a row? That's a lot harder. But I'm hoping the Steelers win because the Ravens, they got nothing to play for. And I'm hoping that we can beat the Bills and send them packing back to Western New York to take a nice snowy canoe trip into Niagara Frozen Falls. And we can host the Steelers and actually win a playoff game for the first time in 20 years. And then we get to host another playoff game. And you never know who's coming back. And maybe we win that one. And then we can go to Baltimore and eat some crab cakes and check on Lamar. And then I don't even care what happens. Then we start talking offseason after that. And then we can talk about how Bradley Chubb going down hurts. But you know what? At least our accomplishments will give us the encouragement to start looking at Bradley Chubb's rehab and follow his Twitter feed and talk about something this offseason. Because if we lose on Sunday, the only thing we're going to be talking about is the same nonsense I just said. And I'm going to say it over and over and over and over every week. The whole off season until next year where we light it up in September and fall again in December. And I'm sick of it. So we better do something different on Sunday and we can win. Question is, will we win? How do we win? And I think we have a chance to do it. But these guys, Tua, McDaniel, Tyreek, they got to step up. And by the way, I'm done arguing with Tua ears. And I'm done arguing with anti-Tua people. You have it. It is what it is. Unless he goes off the next 2 weeks, he is who he is. He's really good statistically. He really isn't very clutch. In clutch games, he will make amazing throws like the one to Claypool and the easy textbook one to Tyreek that Tyreek just couldn't catch. He will also not set the world on fire and throw 5 touchdowns. Not right now. He may, in a couple years, like Lamar did, but I got other news for you. Let's see if Lamar goes the distance, because the Ravens have no excuse not to go to the Super Bowl at this point. And if Lamar doesn't get it done, then he still ain't the guy. We don't know if he's the guy yet. He's got 2 more games to get his team to the Super Bowl. Then he's the guy. If he can't do it, then he's not. You know who else we don't know is the guy? Josh Allen. None of these guys are the guy until they're the guy. That's why Tua is not the guy until he's the guy. So stop telling me he's the guy, because he's not the guy right now. I'm the guy telling you he's not the guy. So knock it off. Okay? I'm done arguing about Tua. Stop telling me he's terrible, but also stop telling me he's the GOAT. Okay? Stop. It's silly. It's childish. I'll also tell you guys one other thing. Cover your kids' ears. Cover your kids' ears. Get them out of the room. I want you to understand this. Santa Claus is not real. And Stephen Ross is not going to bring you a title this year. Okay? That's it. G.
What's up?
Not from, brother.
Man, there's a lot to discuss, a lot to get into. I just want to say, son, I'm gonna start with this. The Dolphins are like a ship. You can either stay on the ship and keep on sailing away, or you can jump off it. After a Dolphin loss, some people jump off the ship. I'm one of those guys. I'm also one of those guys. After a loss, 2 days later, I'm gonna jump back. I'm gonna get back on the ship and keep going. Sunday, I was feeling great. I thought we could win this game. I thought if we did lose the game, it might have been like a field goal, maybe late touchdown. I did not expect to get, 56-19? I did not expect that. It was embarrassing. We were up 7-0. I was feeling good. We got the ball first. In all these big games, we're always trailing. We're finally playing in the lead. And then all of a sudden, everything goes crumbling down. Tyreek drops a touchdown that should have been caught. Ravens go down. This is the thing that bothers me. 2 minutes to go before half. We're rushing to get a playoff. Why? Why are we doing that? Just take the 2 minutes, and maybe it's a different game. Maybe if we don't rush, Tua doesn't throw a pick. Maybe we take our time. But
Great point.
What it is. Let's go down my list. Tua had great throws. Tyreek dropped one. Claypool, this bum who hasn't played, we traded a 6th-round pick for him. That could have been a steal of the draft. Except we traded a 6th-round pick for this loser. Drops a touchdown. That Tua had a great throw. Tua did make some bad throws. I will admit that. He didn't play good. He didn't play great. It was a blowout. Tyreek, we pay him, $70 million? Every big game we've had with him, drop pass against the Eagles, Chiefs, fumble. Cowboys, he didn't drop anything. And then this game, wide open touchdown. Maybe it's a different game.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Defense, let's go to them. Eli Apple, just send a trash can out there because they can do a better job than Eli Apple. Apple is like an apple tree. You're just picking apples. Xavier Howard goes down. Who's going to fill his spot? Fangio, this guy is. We have a love-hate relationship with Fangio. Me and him, love-hate.
It's true, bro.
No adjustments. What else we got on the defense? Ramsey is our best cornerback. Bradley Chubb, it sucks. It's all McGeek's fault. McGeek, leave it. This is the second time it's happened. The Jets game that we could have put our bench players in against the Jets. The Jets weren't going to score, and then what happens? Jalen Phillips goes down. This game, we're not going to come back. What's Bradley Chubb going to do? Get 5 sacks and get a sack fumble return?
That's true.
Why is he going out there the 4th? Now he's gone for the year. Now I will say this. There's also some dumb play calls by McGeek. I'm going to say this. I still think we can win the Super Bowl. Is it likely?
Wow.
Probably not. we're going to have to win with our offense. So these games are probably in the playoffs going to have to be like 42-35 because our defense, it's cooked. Maybe Howard comes back. We're getting Waddle back in the playoffs. This Buffalo game, if we win, I like our chances as a 2 seed. If we lose, stick a fork in us. But if we win this game, more than likely we get the Steelers or Colts, depending on what happens. Then we get Kansas City in our house. And then maybe the Browns upset the Ravens somehow. But I'll say this, man. If we don't win a playoff game this year, I want everybody out. I want McGeek fired. I want Fangio, Tua out. Everybody needs to go because this is embarrassing. Having all this talent, back-to-back years, we're going to choke the division away, more maybe, depending what happens. We're not going to win the playoff game. We're like, what's the point? You know, this is the best Dolphin team I've seen in the past 2 years, and we're not even going to win one. This is sad. Well, depending if we don't win a playoff game, I want everybody gone. I don't care who you are. My plan, if I'm Stephen Ross, I'm going out. I'm getting Jim Harbaugh. We're going to become the Michigan of the South. But that ain't going to happen. If we don't win a playoff game, it doesn't matter. Nothing's changing. Greer's going to be here, whether you like him or not. McGeek's still going to be here, whether you like him or not. Maybe Fangio's still here, like him or not. Tua's going to be here no matter you like him or not. Tua's going to probably end up getting paid. And you got to live with it.
That's it, G. So if you're off, you're back on the boat. I'm swimming along. When you said the Super Bowl thing, I started to tread water. Like, I don't know if I want to get on this boat. There's some crazy people on this boat, but I'm kind of following you. I'm kind of with you on it.
Listen, I'm still going to believe in Tua. Tua's the top 5 quarterback statistically.
He is, though.
He's not. Well, we can argue he's not clutch. I mean, that was just embarrassing.
He's not clutch.
But again, I like if we win this game against Buffalo, we're a 2 seed. I like our chances. Defense sucks because they're all hurt. Fangio, maybe he'll turn something around. We'll see. I like our chance. If we lose this game, we're going to Kansas City more than like. I think it's Kansas City no matter what. If we
are. We're going to Kansas City if we lose. Period.
I don't like our chances.
Me either.
We suck in the road. McGeek he doesn't get his play calls in. We're always taking delay a game, wasting time. I don't like our shots if we go to KC.
No, because Chris Jones is going to eat us alive, and our defense can't stop Mahomes even if he is off his game. Doesn't matter.
Maybe we do beat Kansas City somehow. Maybe there's a shot, but I don't believe if we lose this game to Buffalo, I'm going to be rooting for this team. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to be wearing my Tua jersey on Sunday in the playoffs or Saturday, whatever it is. But there's no hope if we lose this game to Buffalo. We have to win, get the 2 seed, either Pittsburgh, Indianapolis. I don't think Buffalo, if they lose, maybe they come to us. I don't know. I haven't checked the playoff seedings scenarios and whatnot, but I like our shots against Pittsburgh, Colts, maybe Texans, and then Kansas City more than likely will beat whoever the 6th seed is and come to our house. Maybe the Browns upset the Ravens, but
we'll see. Let me bring these guys on and friggin' shake.
Morning, Your Majesty. It is another beautiful day in Zamunda.
Shaky
shake.
Yeah,
especially when you got bourbon.
When you got bourbon, Shake. That's what you got today. Not salty Tua, not any kind of pimp.
Nah.
You got bourbon because you're about to tell her
the good, the bad, the ugly.
No, you got a lot, Shake.
Oh yeah. Let's start. I guess we'll start off with the good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start off with the good here. And one of the good is I got bourbon.
Oh, I like that. That is good.
And it's, by the way, this is redemption bourbon because next week we're gonna need some redemption here. But the good is we're still in the playoffs. That's the only good I could think of. The one thing, ironically, though, is when we're good, I struggle to when we're good, I struggle to think of the bad, and when we're bad, I struggle to think of the good. So
true story, bro. That's human nature. I forgive you, Shake.
All right, the bad. All right, I'm gonna do the KISS method here and just keep it simple and say the Miami Dolphins. Fuck it, the Miami Dolphins. Sorry.
No, it's all right. I mean, yeah, that was a well-placed F.
The receivers dropping passes, Tua throwing those 2 interceptions, coaches, and it just was a whole debacle. At the end of the day, look, Carter was talking about how, you know how they ran up the score, and it seemed kind of personal. And of course, I remember something that a few years ago, they did the same thing to Denver, right? And the coach called him out publicly on it. And that coach was Vic Fangio. So you bet your bottom line that he wanted to really stick it to Vic Fangio.
I can see it. I'm not a Harbaugh's guy, so I see it. They're always crying. They're always Jim or friggin' John.
So Jim Harbaugh, national title.
Oh yeah, and then finally, the ugly.
Ooh. Besides my face and shirt today.
And the ugly is losing Chubb.
Yep.
I mean, at the end of the day, but look, at the end of the day, we weren't a Chubb away from winning a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? We weren't. So at the end of the day, I think we have, Emmanuel Ogbah is serviceable. We got some good. If our secondary we get X back and contain the secondary, it's the coverage. We could do some, but what I'm trying to say is Vic Fangio with good coverage can dial up some blitzes. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, if we get good coverage, X is out.
We have a seasoned defensive coordinator that I think is gonna help us to manage, guide us through this. That's why we picked up Fangio, because if we have defenses, he's been there and he's done that. He kind of, could navigate through these deficiencies. So
I hope so.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. Look, at the end of the day, we can only control what we control. I remember last year. I just want to say, last year you said that the concussion thing, they're going to bring Tua back. They all killed you for it, and lo and behold, it came to fruition.
Yes.
So, at the end of the day, you're right. They're going to run it back next year, win or lose, because we secured the playoff spot, and they're going to be like, well, we got this. They're just gonna, they're gonna weasel their way out of this to Ross. And
true story,
Ross
bro.
You know what I'm saying?
True story, Shake.
Yeah.
You got memes or no today?
No, not today.
Okay, I don't blame you.
We got a full house today.
I don't blame you. So I'm gonna let Lucci go, and I'm gonna drop the link now, so people start lining up. It's gonna be one at a time to come talk to us. We're gonna try to get people churned through. We're gonna talk to all of you. Please watch your language when you come on, because we're getting remonetized. But I'm gonna drop the link now. Lucci, man, what's on your mind? Get him going, man.
Man, everybody already that's on here knows what's on my mind, man. I don't even know where to start. But McDaniel isn't that guy. I've been saying it.
Eek.
Been saying it forever. McGenius.
Eek.
Greg calls him McGeek.
He's not.
It's kind of like a McDonald's sandwich to him.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who's still it's his second year, and I mean, you kind of know. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know where to even go with that. Tua, like I've been saying, he's not that guy when the heat is on. I disagree with Greg. Listen, and all my main with everything is with McGenius. More so than with Tua, my beef is with Mike McDaniel, because I disagree with Greg about that Claypool and all that he was saying about him being a bum and this and that. Listen, in any sport or in anything in life, I don't care what it is. Larry's an attorney, trial. If you never go to trial, when you do go to trial, if you go up against a guy that's been in trial, you're not going to do very well against him. If you're a trial attorney, attorneys, they'll advertise themselves as trial attorneys, meaning if you want to go to trial, I'm that guy. I go to trials regularly. They know what it's in anything in life. You have to have real time. You can't prepare. You can stand in front of a mirror 1,000,000 times and act like you're talking to a jury. It's not the same as if you're in front of a jury or a judge or a state. It doesn't work like that. It was Mike McDaniel, and I've been saying this since we signed Claypool. and we had Hill was out one game, and we had Waddle miss a couple of games, and we've had other guys miss games. Where was Claypool in any of the game planning? And you've had, since you've signed him, to get him in there and get him some real-time reps. And then you throw him in there. He hasn't played, and you expect him. He throws it. Tua throws it was a nice ball in double coverage, but it's one of them. And anybody who's played football, when you got guys around you, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's not really that easy.
No, it's not.
But it's really not, man. It's not that easy. He should have had a lot more, in my opinion, plays drawn up when we're playing these tomato cans that he should have had Claypool in there getting some real-time reps. For instances, like he doesn't contemplate the ifs. I don't know how this guy's a genius. He doesn't contemplate the ifs.
It's a good point, man.
Look at Chubbs. The guy's out. What are you doing? And I didn't even hear his excuse about if they didn't miss the timeout. That missed me with all of that. None of those guys should have been in there. What Greg said, I was screaming. I text Larry this. Go into the 2-minute warning. Why are you rushing into? That was so stupid.
Agreed.
You mean to tell me Mike McDaniel didn't have a play in that we rushed in to try to get a play out before the 2-minute
They
warning?
both did.
That was so stupid, man. Go into the 2-minute warning. This guy is not a genius, man. I don't care to yell. I don't care any of that. The guy is not, he's not that guy. He's not the guy that we can use to win. I agree 100% with what's his name? I can't even think. I'm so frustrated even talking about all this stuff. But he said McDaniel is just a genius at hiding people's deficiencies. And he's right. And that's what he's good at. But then when they expose that game plan, there's no fallback. Tua is not the guy that can go into it. There's going to be games that you have to win. People want to say defense. Well, what about our defense? And they want to make all the excuses in the world for Tua. Tyreek Hill, shame on him. He dropped that pass. And Greg hit the nail on the head. He does it often. And I'm a Tyreek Hill supporter. Listen, this guy drops. He panics. He drops passes. It was in his hands. He was doing too much. He caught it. He should have just fell down. He knows how to fall down. He does it to avoid hits. And that's one thing I love about him. He should have caught the ball and fell down. He went to doing too much. But again, I don't, we didn't do a Dallas show. So let me touch on that real quick. This is one thing. If you watch all these games, like I watch the games, you don't need to be a breakdown film genius like some of these guys claim to be. Watch the game. Guys will be breaking. They'll be running this way, full speed. They'll have to go back this way to catch the ball often. He does it all the time. And if they're not catching the ball like that, they're having to jump and catch the ball like this. This guy puts people's ribs. He puts people in all the time. His throws are not that great. The one thing I like he did against Dallas, he didn't lose us the game. But listen,
no, he didn't.
There was a lot of stuff. That one touchdown pass he threw, Raheem Mostert that was a great catch. Had to really tap it back in to catch it. He was wide open, nobody around him. He almost blew that throw. He didn't play fantastic. The 293 yards looks really good. The only thing he did that is one thing I've been asking, just don't lose us the game in big games and I'll be happy. He did that against Dallas, but he wasn't great. He missed that throw to Tyreek. People could say what they want. He had a nice throw to Waddle. That was his highlight of the game. He's not. There's going to be games when defense ain't going to show up, and you got to be able to go back and forth. The game that comes to mind, L.A., Kansas City. It was some years ago. It was like 50-something to 50-something. It was the highest score game ever. That was when L.A. had an L.A. defense with Ramsey, with what's his name in the center.
Ramsey wasn't on that defense.
He wasn't on that defense, but
No.
the Rams still had a great defense. And sometimes it just is what it is. It's not going to always work out, and you got to be able to keep up. And the game that comes to mind was earlier in the season against Buffalo. Shout out Michael K. It was a game like that. Their defense wasn't playing great either. We were going back and forth. We fell off. At what number did we fall off at? We lost to them. We scored 20-something points, 20, right around 19. The same thing we dropped off.
It is that 20 mark.
It's the same thing that happened with Baltimore. And Buffalo took off and smoked us just like Baltimore just did. Sometimes defense ain't going to always be there.
Yeah.
So if you're one of them guys that's caping for Tua and saying, yo, what about the defense? Then say, like I've been saying, Tua can be the guy that we can win with as long as everything else goes right. He's not the guy that can win a shootout if it comes down to it. He's not doing that against a formidable opponent.
Which is sad when he's putting up all those stats, but he can't win a shootout. That's a problem. Dan could win a shootout. That's what he did when he didn't have the defense, and that's a problem.
I mean, and but people could say whatever they want to say, and I hate Tua hater. I don't care. It shows, man. His throws were terrible. He threw a lot of throws in the dirt and in the sidelines. The only thing he did Dallas different, he didn't throw it. He didn't almost throw an interception not one time against Dallas, and that his Dallas game was the best. If you're just gonna not lose us the game but keep us in the game, that was the best game I ever saw Tua play, and against when it mattered. But here we go again, a game that matters. If we win this game, we control our destinies, and then we go into Buffalo and we got a shot the number 1 seed. What did he do? He folded. He didn't keep up. And
you're right, bro.
Granted, Tyreek dropped the pass. Granted, Claypool dropped the pass. I put that on McDaniel more than I do Claypool. But it's like, come on, man, enough is enough. And we had 100 yards, something rushing. Achane ran the ball wonderful. It's just terrible, man. And our defense, I feel like Larry. It's we don't have any pass rushers. Jalen
not anymore, bro.
Chubb is out. Howard's out. What do you think? When we play Buffalo, I mean, it just is what it is. What do you think's gonna happen when we play Buffalo? We don't got Howard. Who's gonna rush the power? And Allen is good against the blitz, anyways. And for the record, Lamar stayed in the pocket and cooked us. He brought us to the barbecue.
He did, bro. Yeah.
He didn't run nothing.
Nope.
And I agree with my guy Horace, and I'll close on this. When Lamar we had opportunity to get him, we should have gave him the money he wanted. This is a hometown kid. Shout out Deerfield, Florida. This is a Broward County kid, man. This is a home team kid. We should have brought him over here. And anybody who says that he's a running back who can't, he didn't run nothing against the Miami Dolphins. One of the best defenses, regardless if we stacked up them stats against trash teams or not, one of the best defenses coming into the game, he cooked us from the pocket. He didn't do all that running and gunning. And he stood in the pocket and brought us to the barbecue. And our defense is dead as fried chicken.
Right. Nene, you going to follow up? What are you going to follow up with? How are you feeling?
First of all, Happy New Year. Can y'all hear me? I'm on a new speaker.
We can hear you. Happy New Year to you.
I'm going to add to, but I'm also going to add some positive perspective, because even though this stuff happened to us, we are still.
Nene, you cut out.
Oh, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, but I was just wondering if you heard the last part about positive perspective, because all you're gonna hear on Spaces and YouTube is nothing but what went wrong. But we're still one game away in our house, where we only lost one game this season, only one, in a game that we shouldn't have lost, to finally beat our bully, the Buffalo Bills, and get the 2 seed to where we can host possibly 2 games. Because one thing I will tell people about what happened, it didn't end the season. We had a guy that went down with a season injury, but we're not 8-8 or 7-8 in the wild card hunt. We are still got that X checked across our as clinching, and we can have that Y if you just go in there and take care of business on Sunday. And that's just, and that may sound like, a homer. I'm very hard on this team, but I also got to acknowledge that they have taken a one step further than what they did last season, and be honest, since 1990, when the last time we was 11-5. So I think there's things that you can look to. Now, here's the parts I agree, and I'm just going to use it differently. With Mike McDaniel with those calls, all I heard was Tua is now in a non-toxin environment, that he has freedom. I still think Tua could have went to that line of scrimmage and slowed down the play before the 2-minute warning. I think Tua also wouldn't have got chastised. I don't think Mike McDaniel would have grabbed him by the jersey and grabbed him by the face mask and cussed him out if he didn't throw into the quadruple coverage to that Tyreek Hill when you had a wide open Devon A-Chain right on the flat. So here's the thing, right? You can, and I agree, Mike McDaniel is goofy. I think when he curses, it sounds like a person that's learning how to curse. He's like that friend that's trying to be hip, you know. Yeah. He comes from a suburb area where he's rich, and you know, and every now and then you drop him off.
He's a dork. He's a dork.
Yeah,
you can say it.
Every now and then you drop him in the hood, and you know, he got a couple of cousins that gave him a couple of words for him to learn. But I will say this. You cannot build continuity, right? If every 2 or 3 years you want to fire the head coach.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem because, you know, I brought up this example because I'm a big Miami Heat fan. And I remember when Coach Spoelstra got the big three. And LeBron wanted Coach Spo out of there, right? A lot of Heat fans wanted Coach Spo. I'm being honest. I wanted Pat Riley to come back down and lead the team.
Well, after that Dallas loss?
But guess what Pat Riley did? He said, I gotta give this guy the opportunity to pass and fail. You can't just, because you got a clock in your head, just push. This guy has only been here for 2 years. And in his 2 years, he has been able to unlock allegedly a person that had confidence issues. Now, granted, he has Tyreek Hill, but sometimes even when you have talent, that's harder to do. So I'm not saying that he's not wrong in his decision making. What I'm saying is for the outcry from the big O's and, you know, what Miami media is doing now, which I think is absolutely wrong, because you just went on a tangent saying that he was so great to the locker room, he's so great to the organization. Now all of a sudden we get in the nitty gritty, and now we doing little fillers, Miami media, and saying that we want this guy out of here. Like, you cannot do this every 2 or 3. Here's the problem. You hire first-year head coaches and get mad when they make first-year mistakes. You don't get anybody with experience.
But he's doing the same thing, Nate. He's doing the same mistakes he made last year, his rookie year.
I got it. I'm tracking.
Okay.
But what I'm saying to you is this, right? Most of us weren't even alive for Don Shula to see what mistakes he made before he actually became competent. You cannot build any kind of continuity if the guy got to walk on eggshells and be when there's other people that's responsible. He's not the only one on the coaching staff. There's plenty of other people that have the opportunity to correct and rectify. Now, again, I'm not holding him responsible. I'm talking about this push, and that's why I brought up the Miami Heat. There's a reason why they're competitive every year. There's a reason why they can grab me and you off the street and get us in the NBA Finals at least, because they have a thing called continuity. A lot of those guys been with the organization for 10 plus years. We can't even keep nobody for 2, and you want to fire them.
But that's a bad example, though. Now I got to say that's a bad example to Miami Heat, because the difference is Pat Riley, Mike McDaniel started in the film room. He had been with the organization for 15 years before he got a shot at head coaching. So he was literally groomed by Pat Riley, the Godfather, from the beginning all the way until that point. See, so it's a totally different concept. Steve,
but what I'm saying is, you can't do this every 2 or 3 years. You just fired Flores.
But it's a different because
what I'm saying.
In 06,
you gotta build.
Listen, in 06, we had Van Gundy down there and Pat Riley, and we had all these players that had one foot in the grave. Jason Williams, Gary Payton, Alonzo Mourning, and we had Van Gundy, who had the year before and we made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And you know what Pat Riley did that second year when he saw it going down to Daniel? He said, man, listen, man, sit your ass, get out of here, and let me show you how it's done. And Pat Riley came from the top down to the court and said, I'll coach this because we got a championship team and we're going to win with this team. You're tripping. Get out of here. And what happened? We won that championship in 06.
Right.
The difference is he groomed, Spo. So it's a little bit of a different situation.
Well, when I'm saying I use the Miami Heat because I want you to look more at the example of LeBron wanting Spo out of there and the organization still saying, no, we're standing behind this guy. Who is Steven?
That was our guy that we had groomed for 15
right, but hear me what I'm saying to you. Hear me what I'm saying to you. And I get all your concerns about Mike McDaniel, but we got to stop fighting at the leaves and get to the root of the damn problem. You hire people that is, I'm sorry, you're hiring people who have no experience, and then you get mad when they make mistakes.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't do that.
Who else are we going to hire?
Hold on. Let me land my plane. Okay. At some point, you got a defensive coordinator. You got the discipline guy. You got rid of him. Now you got the goofball offensive genius. Now you want to get rid of him. At some point, you have to look at the structure of the organization. When you have your general manager, there you go. You have your general manager saying, you're more concerned about the offensive line than I am, right? When you have these contracts that are questionable on how much money you're allocating to people and not thinking about the future, that not everybody's going to be on a rookie deal, that becomes another problem. That's why I can't get so hysterical for Mike McDaniel. He was brought in because the defensive philosophy, the disciplinarian, is not what they wanted. They wanted someone that they felt was more relatable to the younger players. They wanted someone who could unlock Tua. In my opinion, to the most part, he has done that. So you're going to take one loss, and now all of a sudden we're packing them out? No,
I hear you.
That's why you can't move forward.
Yeah, and I understand your concern too. It's not about necessarily Spoelstra as a groomed, person versus Mike. It's about stability. I think the issues that Mike has had go beyond just that one loss, and even in some of the wins, people question some of his coaching ability. But here's my thing with to your point. I thought about this earlier today because Big O's with this hammer nonstop about how we got to get it's the coach, he's going to be on the hot seat and this and that. Here's my thing. The biggest thing for me is stability. Yes, when you keep changing coaches, what you wind up doing is consistently thwarting yourself because you're consistently having to turn over the roster, turn over the system, turn over the assistant coaches, and you're always starting over, so you never have a chance to build. And if you look at the Ravens, you see that they have now finally gotten into another position so many years later, 5 years later, where they can potentially make a run where their quarterback's playing at a higher level. But more importantly, what I was thinking about earlier today when I was contemplating this coaching issue was this guy wasn't just brought in as a head coach who was going to preside over X's and O's schematic people. This guy was brought in as a head coach / offensive coordinator, and he literally installed an offensive system that optimized our quarterback's ability to operate within it, and he brought in players that are optimal for that system. So my biggest thing, and this is why I'm saying and why Shake said I was right earlier in the show, no matter how you feel about Tua, no matter how you feel about McDaniel, no matter how you feel about Greer, no matter how you feel about any of these guys, we're running it back, and it still is the only viable way to do it, and it's the only situation that makes sense because you cannot get rid of. If you get rid of him, you basically might as well get rid of Tua because you're not going to find another guy from an X's and O's standpoint that's going to optimize the talent on the roster, including Tua. And he's not going to step down and become the OC if you hire a new head coach. So we're stuck with it for better or worse. And I think no matter what I think of it, and no matter what I think of whether they should have hired him, and I also agree with your point that Stephen Ross, he likes to hire these inexperienced, younger, first-time head coach, offense guru nerds, because I think they remind him of him when he was just a bright-eyed, big-eared boy coming out of Michigan, and he wanted to make his way in the world, and he likes these guys, and he hires them, and now that we have McDaniel, we got to rock with him. There's no way out of it. So,
yeah, I agree. To me, people have to take a breath and look at the situation from its full totality. There's a lot of other people in the chain of command that have made decisions that have created the issue. You got a lot of guys that have mileage on them and have injuries on them, and you paid them a lot of money, and throughout the season you did absolutely nothing to bring in somebody that could possibly replace them if something went wrong. Teron Armstead, you got him in here knowing he was on his last legs, that he has a career with injuries written, and he eats up so much money on the offensive side of the ball. So now when he's in and out, I don't want to hear complaining about it, because you have a general manager, when he was given a softball question in the summer, what are you doing at the offensive line? And he said, you're more concerned about it than I am. So when I'm in these spaces, when I'm in YouTube and people are crying, oh, our offensive line is riddled and injured. Well, when you have a general manager where his sole responsibility is acclimating the roster to its full totality, and unlike in other sports, you can bring in guys, right? You can they worked out some guys today, but guess who they worked out? People we never even heard of. Low ball, low hanging fruit people, and you want Butch Berry and Mike McDaniel to create a miracle with people who were like Liam Eichenberg. He was terrible.
But I'll tell you, they did create a miracle because he's playing pretty good now. So is Lamb. So they did do a pretty good job in the O-line. You got to admit, even the depth.
But now when we lose, and I don't know if you hear, but when we lose, you hear that as one of the narratives as the problem. Oh, we have an injured O-line.
They shouldn't be, because the O-line still played pretty good, honestly.
The O-line played great. Let's be honest.
My whole
sacked that much, and the running game was fantastic.
Hey, by the way, two things I want to bring up. Number one, you say McDermott was a first-time head coach, but I think it's funny that the Josh Allen Bone Stroker Cubs were calling for his head this year.
Well, I'll tell you, he still hasn't won a chip, and he brought up the Al Qaeda terrorist so I don't know.
And secondly, the one thing I did like about Brian Flores was the fact that when he was down to players, he didn't get free. Of course the tank here did, but for the most part, he looked up waiver wires and got guys like Seiler, or got players off of other teams' practice squads instead of getting these guys off the street. Get practice squad players because they've been getting reps and they're hungry. You know what I'm saying? That's what he was doing.
Greer's done a great job.
Greer's gotten a lot of these guys though.
I'm on the polar opposite side of how people feel about Greer, man.
I like Greer.
Greer's done fantastic.
You want to know why? Because he's not a person you see behind the podium every week when we take a loss.
But I see the players he got, and I like them.
Who is in the hire McDaniel? I mean,
because
I like the players. They got hurt.
Let me ask you something.
Let me ask you something. Good. Elliott played good. Jones played good.
Here we go, because we gotta put the full plate out there, not just the advertisers, not just the finger foods, but when you got Eli Apple that was replacing a X that we already knew had injuries.
That's fair.
You gotta let me land my plane. Yeah, when you go out here and you let half of the team is on the IR, it seemed like it was more people on the IR than the practice squad. But then when you look at these players' history, right? I think we get in love with a name that we recognize. Oh, that's someone I know. That's someone that's good. But look at their whole history. Are there problems in the locker room? Are they injury prone? Are they productive? Do they fit the scheme? And what I see Greer does, every year something bad happens, he brings a high profile name and the whole fan base gets excited. Oh, wow, he got us Bradley Chubb. Wow, he got us Tyreek Hill. But now when those players go down, then all of a sudden you're looking at the roster and say, wait a minute, who do we have? Tua doesn't have anybody to throw. The season is over with. You as a general manager, I was in the military for 21 years. My last assignment, I managed 5 downing facilities that fed at least 7,000 soldiers. I always had to make sure my lineups had balance. I couldn't just have people on one shift that were extremely good. I had to mix and match because if something went wrong, my mission has to continue. Now, granted, it's a different job, but I'm just talking about general managing, right? Because now what
here's
happens?
My thing. You're right about that, but listen, like Chase Claypool, Anthony made a good point. If you're talking about managing, Claypool is a talented guy. Greer brought in. Isn't it McDaniel's job to get him ready, like he said, against the tomato cans? And by the way, the offensive line mixed and matched with Eichenberg playing center and Lamb, who's been a beast coming in and reprieve, has been awesome. And our wide receiver core with Barrios and what's the kid's name? Craig Crab. These kids are good. Like, I give you the secondary. The corners suck that he brought in. But he drafted Cam Smith, who can't see the field, and he brought in Apple. But other than that, like, look at the team. It's a good team. And Tyreek, that's on Tyreek if you can't catch that ball. Like, I don't know. I think Greer's done a pretty good job.
Larry, I'm gonna give you another point. Hold on, because he was
I'll give it to Anthony. One more point. Let her get one more point, then I'll give it to Lucci.
Give me 1 second.
I got this last point I want to say. All of that is fine and dandy, but you know what we lack? What I saw, we don't have dogs, because when we were getting the dog crap beat us on national TV, you know what I saw? I saw people laughing. I saw people laughing and joking on the sideline.
That's not what I saw.
Hold on, you gotta bring
penalties. I saw us getting penalties at the end of the game.
No. I'm talking about. When they showed on. Maybe my broadcast was different, but when they showed that sideline, it was Tua. And it was also Cedric Jr. Wilson. They were on the sidelines laughing and joking like we just get a 50 burger put on us.
I ain't never seen Tua get upset in his life. But hold on, let me say this.
But that's my point.
Let Lucci go. I hear you. We hear you, Nene. We hear you.
I'm just saying, you didn't get any dogs, and then you wonder why games like Tennessee Titans, the Philadelphia 76, the Eagles, the Bills, when we get punched in the mouth, then everybody's going to fire McDaniel, get rid of Tua. No, you have a team that identity is not toughness, mental toughness. You got a bunch of guys that like to come up with sellies and have on the watches and you don't have people. But I give you Jalen Ramsey.
Larry, that's where it starts. But that's the guy you're capable for. Don't get rid of.
Because they didn't team with Flores and they weren't acting that way. They didn't
put.
Hold on, man.
But what I'm saying to you, I'm just saying that you're not getting. He is in charge of bringing the personnel in. That's all I'm saying. And I'm tired of people blaming Tua and McDaniel when you got Ross. You got Ross and Greer that
That's
gets
not
the
their
pass.
job.
Yeah, you're right, and you're right.
That's
You're
not
right.
their
I hear
job.
you if you're saying. I hear you if you're saying it starts with Ross and Greer, and it trickles to the coach, and then all of them. Then it's all of them. It's Ross, it's Greer, it's McDaniel, and it's Tua. And I agree with that statement, but I wouldn't say that Tua and
that's all I'm saying.
Because they're the same dude. Yeah, I hear you.
Because
Lucci, go ahead.
everybody is blaming them. They're not the only ones responsible.
No, I think they all responsible. I agree with you there. I agree. I always make fun of Magoo. I always think it permeates from him 100%. This team is in his image doing the waddle. At least he's not Woody for the Jets with the stupid chain making a fool out of himself, but he still makes a fool out of himself with this product. Go ahead, Lucci. Go ahead.
He celebrates the team. This guy's went to the ends of the earth, even went as far as going against the rules to try to get us some wins. So I support Ross. But let me say this, man. The Cam Smith that Larry was talking about, right? And they say, oh, well, there's a reason why he isn't hitting the field and all this.
That's true.
Okay, now let me say this. As much as I disagree with Flores on some man type of time, and I'll just leave it at that. The guy is a defensive guru. He's one of the best of the best of the best. In my opinion, this guy is great at defensive schemes. And the guy can be a leader of men. He might be a certain type of way. He's a hard-nosed, whatever. However you want to chop it up, the guy can get it together on defense. He didn't want to use Minkah Fitzpatrick. Now, Chris Greer, who drafted Minkah Fitzpatrick, when he didn't want to use Minkah Fitzpatrick. He wanted to use him in this scenario. And Minkah Fitzpatrick says, this isn't what it is. This isn't what it is, right? Yeah, Yeah, I remember he wanted Lamar Jackson.
That's a big
Deshaun
thing,
Watson,
bro.
Deshaun Watson, we can say whatever we want. We don't know how it is, but at the time, Deshaun Watson was a winner. This guy was winning in Houston when they had nothing.
And by the way, real quick, Lucci, I'll let you finish your point, but the Big O thing with being a mouthpiece for Greer, I've noticed he's been attacking Lamar all the time, supporting Tua. That's because Greer went to the Mats and said he wasn't drafting Jackson because he couldn't throw, and Ross wanted Jackson. Finish your point, though. I got to let him finish his point.
Okay, so I'm going to say this real quick. The moral of the story is Cam Smith ain't seen the field, and they said, well, why? What? There must be a reason. But there was a reason Minka Fitzpatrick wasn't either. And what we do, we traded him. And what has he done since he's been to Pittsburgh? What did he do that year we traded him in Pittsburgh? The kid had almost an MVP season.
He's a Jersey
but
kid.
We couldn't find a way to fit him in to one of the guys who's, in my opinion, even though I don't agree with him, is one of the great defensive minds in the game of football today. Couldn't figure out a way to use him to where we could, and look where he is now.
Was it in his mom?
So your point, Lucci, your point is Greer picked a good player, but the coaches couldn't figure it out.
But here we are with Cam Smith. There's another, it is what it is.
Well, Mike McDaniel said that the reason he's not seeing the field because Omar asked him because we're thin at CB. Omar just asked him, and he said we don't want guys to get scar tissue if they get burned, so we don't want rookies to hit the field. So you might be right, bro. It might be the coaches just on some.
It's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, okay, I never knew that, but let me say this: Sean Smith and what's his name, man?
Sean Smith was a monster.
Listen, Sean Smith and what's his name?
Who? Vontae Davis.
Vontae Davis were drafted in the same year. Rookies.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that?
Yep.
We put them both on the field same year.
Yep.
They were talking Sam Madison, Patrick Surtain.
Yep.
Rookies. Get out of here with that. You have to, in certain situations, it is what it is.
They have to play them now, bro.
You gotta put them out there. Let's see what they can do.
You got
forged by fire, man. You're gonna see what a guy's made of, man. You have
what?
To.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know. It's all this scary,
by the way,
money don't make money. All my gamblers in the comments and people that know scary money don't make no money, man. You got to put your chips at some point. You got to put your chips out there and say, this is what it is, man. Let's see what happens. So, and the people we have manning our football team fail to do that. And the head coach is a bozo. I mean, I don't care what anybody says.
Hold on, let G get in. Let G get in real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
When he stops eating his peanut butter, he puts his ice cream down.
Right,
I want to hear him real quick.
I gotta
even though they're rookies, you gotta play them. I mean, draft picks. I mean, what you got 3 years usually? You got your rookie, like usually 3 years. You know what you got in your draft pick. I mean, some may argue same thing with the quarterback. You gotta let the quarterback play. They make rookie mistakes. You're not winning the Super Bowl that year with your first. Like look at Bryson in Carolina. He's making mistakes, right? He's making mistakes, and the Carolina Panthers ain't winning the Super Bowl, but they're moving on for the future. Some may argue you need to let your quarterback sit, but what other positions you got to let your rookies play because you got 3 years. That's what you know about your pick. You know if it hits. You know if it was a bust. Then you can know. Oh, we're not picking up the 50 yards from. We're gonna cut them and go draft someone else. But
plus, you got to use them to get to the promised land because you won't have.
We brought in Eli Apple. We know Eli Apple gets cooked. We know that already. Like Nate said, we know what this guy's capable of, and we put him out there like we expect different results this late in his career. Why not just
Larry,
what's up?
Let me say something real quick, though.
All right, what's up, Shake?
I want to follow Shake.
I just want to this mink. I want to put this Minka Fitzpatrick thing with Brian Flores to rest because number one, he left. You go. I want to be a high safety. That's what he said, right? And so he went to Pittsburgh to be high safety. He says, "Oh, I want to be moved all around, motherfucker." That's what we were trying to do with you here. Now all of a sudden, because the position he wanted to play, as soon as they neutralized him, they stopped throwing to his side. He wasn't effective anymore. He wanted to be moved around like the original plan was here. And secondly, the fact that they said, "Oh, he left because he couldn't stand Flores." Well, then they sure looked like buddy when they went to Pittsburgh. So
right.
That puts that narrative to rest.
Yeah, fair enough. Nate, what's up? You're right, Shake.
Push back on something too, and I'm going to be quick with landing my plane. I seen this as my time ended in the military. Sometimes they would put a young, inexperienced person in a leadership position because the chain of command wanted to control them. They wanted somebody that would not challenge any decision and basically do what they wanted them to do. And I rewind it back to why they say Brian Flores was fired. They said it was communication. Basically, he didn't want to listen to what they were telling him to do. And this is why with the Mike McDaniel thing, I think in a lot of ways he was set up for failure. He's excited. He has a job. You have, and then there's reports from Van Noy that the issues between Brian Flores and the locker room wasn't Tua. It was Greer. That Greer was still trying to run that team from his seat. And that's why when I look at some things like Cam Smith, I don't know if people know, but one of the reasons why Cam Smith is on the team, even though he was showing signs of immaturity, right? That's why he went from a first-round pick and failed us down to the second round. He was graded as first-round talent. His son, Christopher Aloysius Greer III, goes to school with Cam Smith. Now, come on. And then you bring in a guy like Fangio that probably looks at that and is like, listen, this guy can't learn the playbook, or he's a problem outside of the locker room, which I think is a big contradiction because every time you turn around, there's a paternity
in the back. Yeah, you want to come up. There's nobody in the back. That's why. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, John's funny, though. I just think John's funny. That's all.
But a paternity suit against X or a paternity suit against Hill. So I don't want to hear nothing about this guy over there dropping it like it's hot in the club, and that's why you can't get him on the field. And guess what? Cam Smith ain't the only one that sits. Think about our draft pick from last year, right? He still hasn't touched the field. The guy that we drafted from Georgia. So there is a sense of interesting dynamic going on because you bring in Liam Eichenberg, you bring in Austin Jackson, they got the opportunity to make mistakes. They got the opportunity to touch the field. But here you got guys on the defensive side of the ball when every week we got the doggone cart coming out of the field like it's an ice cream break. Every time you turn around, somebody getting pushed out on the cart from the defense. And you got these young guys just sitting on the bench ready to play, and you watching you watching Eli Apple getting drugged. You're watching the other linebacker, Duke Riley, getting embarrassed. And you still refuse to use other personnel that is on the field. So that's why when everybody just wants to go after Tua, those are the easy targets. Go after Tua. Go after the head coach. No, what about all these other people that are involved in these organizational decisions that affect winning?
No, listen, there's something to be said about that only because when McDaniel came in, one of the things I said was I didn't like how they were setting him up on the cell phone with Tua, with the rah-rah, and I can't wait to see you. And all. That was definitely came up from above. That being said, and Nene, I'm going to put you back in the back because we got another caller on. Thank you for hopping on, and we'll bring you back up when we can. But there's something to be said for that, but I still put a lot on the – and listen, we still could win. I'm just saying, look at this guy making a showing with the wood panel backdrop, the hat on, the throwback, the one and only Seattle Slayer, the sleuth smooth Seattle Slayer. What up, kid?
Larry.
What's up, guys? Hey, glad I could finally catch a live episode around here. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Love the timing, too. Look, I mean, I what's that? No, I got some hair, man. I still got a little bit of hair. It ain't much. There you go. Boom. Here, but we'll pull without it. Yeah. So I don't know, guys. I mean, I've been watching this whole season. I held true to my word. Last year I'd said I'd cut off my NFL Sunday ticket, and you know what? I sure as heck did. I haven't paid for that at all this year. I've been able to still watch the games live, so I've been really fortunate about that. But one of the reasons I did that is, yeah, well, anyways, so one of the reasons I did that is I was really unhappy last year. I had finally bought into Tua, and, I wanted to see this team do really, really good. And last December was not cool. Tua didn't finish out the year. He ended on concussion protocol. And it was for me, it was a really big letdown. And it was also at that point, I lost faith in the Tua. And for me, this all about Tua to me. And I lost faith in him, last year. So coming back this year, the team is well armed with talent all over the place. This is the best this team has probably been in a long time and will be in a long time. And this is the year that Tua has to go out there and perform. And here's my big problem with Baltimore, with the Eagles, with Kansas City, with all of it is our quarterback, when we're playing in those big games, has to show up and not just not lose the game. Our quarterback has to show up and has to elevate the rest of the team to a point to where we can win the game. And Baltimore, for example, look, Lamar Jackson is a really, really good quarterback. There's a reason he's being considered for MVP, right? We knew going into that, this guy's going to score. And really, we had made sacrifices on defense, right? And loaded up on offense because we were promised our offense will produce. It will make up for that difference. And I'm still sitting here waiting for that to happen. We're playing top teams and hardly putting up any points against them. So, at the end of the day, if our QB1 isn't going to show up, isn't going to show out, he's not going to elevate the rest of the team. And, I'd like to just look at that Baltimore game, and here's one of my boys right here.
What's up?
That's Orion. All right, he's not a miserable Dolphin fan like me. Although he watches the game, he feels bad for me by the end. Yeah.
He just ducks out in general, or he's a Hawks fan or what?
These are hockey guys actually. But they know their dad roots for the Dolphins, so they sit there and watch it with me, man. They're always so sad for me by the end. But here's the point I'm trying to get across is Tua is supposed to be better than this right now. And he's given the benefit of the doubt by the franchise. They've completely loaded up. They brought in a coach to bend over backwards for him, to not hurt his feelings. There's been so many things put in place for this guy to succeed. And at the end of the day, I don't feel like we're getting a fair return on our investment. And that's the problem. He needs to beat the Eagles. He needs to beat Kansas City. He's got to beat Buffalo. I mean, and here comes another test. So I have no confidence in this team. I believe we lose at Buffalo. I believe we go to KC on the road. We lose in KC. And then we're on the off season. And that's just because I don't believe Tua can elevate this team in the manner that it needs to be elevated in. So thanks for having me on, guys. And that's
John, I love you, bro. Thanks for coming on. It's been too long, man. Come back and join us again, bro.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I agree. They give us so much PTSD, John, that how the hell are we supposed to feel confident at all? I don't feel confident. Why would I? We've been seeing this since the 90s. Why would I be confident right now? Come on.
Hey, Larry. Oh, go ahead.
What's up? Gee, what?
Oh, like Q, we're gonna bring you up soon, Q. Don't hang on.
I wanted to make a point that I forgot about that I just remembered.
Do it.
In the third quarter, I think it was 35 or to 14, something like that. Maybe it was 42. There was
35
in the third quarter to go. I was shouting at my television, "Let's go! No huddle, move!" And then all of a sudden, because I still had hope at that time, clock winds down to 0. Then we score. And I'm like, well, maybe if we would have got it in the third quarter, I would still have hope, but this game's over. Just figured I wanted to bring that up because I wanted to bring it up, but then I forgot about it.
Yeah, no, I get it. There was a lot of missteps that whole game, bro. We had a lot of chances to get back in the game and to stay in the game. We blew every one of those chances. And a lot of guys blew it. The special teams blew it with the kick return after the half. The Tua blew it with his picks and his boneheaded trying to rush for it before the 2-minute warning. Tyreek blew it with the drop. Claypool blew it with his drop, even though I do understand that he hasn't played in a while. McDaniel blew it with just bad play calls and bad challenges and whatnot. And the defense absolutely blew it by just getting their doors blown off. So,
hey, this guy, whoever, Deuce the Goose, man, great.
That's John
great
from
take,
Seattle, bro.
man.
Deuce Goose.
I support it, man. A great take because it all comes down to that. Our guy is just a guy that can just do what he can do if everything goes right. And then sometimes he screws that up. He's not extending plays. Okay, he's got a quick release, the quickest in the league, yada, yada, yada. If that goes away, so does the rest of the play. That's it. It's up to Tyreek. It's up to Waddle. It's up to Mostert. It's up to Achane. It's up to Barrios, who hardly ever gets looks. It's up to Wilson, who hardly ever, well, he's got more looks recently. These are the guys that have to make it happen for us. It's not Tua. These little slant passes, catch it and make something happen after the catch. The yak is what makes us happen. Tua's not extending anything. We don't have that guy. So, you know, you want to blame everybody else, blame who you want. We signed Tua. We're in purgatory for years to come.
You know
he
what?
does not extend play. He can extend plays.
I think you just actually brought something up for me that about his extending of plays that really it irked me in the game. And granted, look, Tua ran right and he slid, and it's a good thing he did because he was going to get hurt. So it was a third down play. He ran, he slid, he wasn't going to get it. I support him sliding in that situation. However, the very next drive, Lamar Jackson comes out, and I think he rips off a 14-yard run on us for a first down. And that was the prime example, you know, to the point being made here is Tua's not extending these plays and delivering. And then on the flip side, we have Lamar Jackson come out and rip off a 14-yard run. And that's
Josh Allen. These other quarterbacks we're gonna have to play maybe twice in a row if we squeak by.
There's an element. There's an element they have that, frankly, I feel like we are at a disadvantage at that position. And that's one of those areas. Our guy cannot run. Literally, it seems like he's risking his life as seriously as he's getting down, or his career at least. And so that's, man, that is honestly a really disappointing part of this QB play also, because we have no run. So you know, what do you do when he is struggling with the pass and he's not as accurate? What do you do to kind of break that up? Most guys, you give them a run play. You can't do that with Tua. There's no extension. And that just honestly, that's a real irritant.
In the pocket, you had guys like Eli Manning who weren't runners, or Big Ben could run, but other guys like that. Tom Brady, who couldn't run. You know what these guys were? They were Floyd Mayweather in the pocket. They'd stick in the pocket and boom, 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 and come up out of there and still make the play. He doesn't have the height for that. He doesn't have any of that. He's got deficiencies everywhere. That's it.
And by the way, the last year when you said we didn't have yak yards last year, we were low on yak yards last year.
All right, guys. Hey, man, it's been real fun. I know you got someone in the back waiting. If the show extends, I'll try and pop back on. Yeah, and then Larry. Hey, look, man, it's thanks for having me. I appreciate y'all. I like what you're preaching up here, and I think we got to hold these folks accountable. As far as me, man, my kids have been playing the heck out of some hockey, and the rink is super demanding. So most of the time, that's just where I'm at. I catch your streams on delay, so I'm catching every episode. But yeah.
I'm happy to know you're still listening, my brother. That's what I'm happy about. So thanks for saying what up, and join us whenever you can, brother. And good luck on the hockey rink, bro. I'm just glad you're listening, bro. I miss you.
Take, man.
All right, man. Keep it up, guys.
Later, bro. Yeah, so Lucci, John was emerging into like your where you wound up. He was kind of edging in, and then you came up, and you were my dude, and John got busy and whatever. Just so he was a good dude last season. He was on all the time. Just so he's a good dude.
Yeah, he got a good take, man. It's just, and these are honest takes. It's not even about whether I agree his opinion. And I know it sounds weird, but for me, I'm not speaking opinion. I'm just speaking facts. You can't argue anything that I'm saying if you watch the same game that I watch. There's no other opinion. Tua this is what you get with Tua. A quick release, a throw, and they better make it. Now he could throw. He's thrown a couple of nice dimes, deep balls. I'll give you that. But when it comes to extending plays, forget about it. You're on the low end of 2% that he'll make something happen out of 9 times out of 10. He's got to go down so he doesn't get hurt, which is good because availability is the best ability and all that other stuff. But
I hear you. It's limiting. Q, what up? We got Q, then we got Cube, then we got Fred.
What up, fellas? Can y'all hear me good?
Yes, we can.
Good, clear.
Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Hey,
Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year to everybody on the panel. Larry K, Shake Money, G. What up, Lucci? Happy New Year. What's up, man? Yeah, it's bad, real bad. But man, after watching after watching a couple breakdowns, watching some film, I want to ask the everybody on this panel, and I want you to be truthful and honest, and just say what you want to say. Not want to say, but say what you actually want. What's actually in your mind. And what do you guys think? What was the limiting? Like, okay, I know you guys are gonna put it on tour, but what was the limiting factor to why the Baltimore Ravens, and not just the Baltimore Ravens, let's put all the other winning teams, the Eagles, the Bills. What was the limiting factor to why the offense looked the way it did? Not just last night, but the entire season against those winning teams.
I think they're
Mike
finding ways to
McDaniel.
disguise coverages before the snap and then dropping into the coverages to confuse them. I don't think it was as prevalent with Baltimore, where we were dropping passes and really just getting shut down in the pass game. I honestly, the defense got its doors blown off, and when the offense tried to press, I think we stopped going to the run with
I want
Achane.
to stick with the offense. I know the defense looked the way it did, but
I'm putting it on the offense because what I'm saying is once the defense got their doors blown off, the offense tried to press too much, went away from the run where Achane actually racked up over 100 yards, and we were actually getting some play, and all of a sudden we were discombobulated. Tua threw a couple ducks. You don't have Waddle in the game, so you could double Tyreek much better, take away other options. But I think the common denominator that I've seen is that they disguise coverages, they drop linebackers, they clog up the middle of the field.
Okay, Lucci, you got some thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. For me, it's Mike McDaniel and his game planning, and his poor game management. It's poor everything, man. How many delayed games he don't get the plays in? I mean, it's just Mike McDaniel is a crazy.
And we know that Mike likes midget porn, so.
Like I just said, yeah, I laughed at that Michael K comment. That was pretty good. I'll tell you this. Tua's deficient already as a quarterback. It is what it is. And I'm on record saying we could win the big game with him as long as everything else. But whose job is it to get everything else? And who was the one caping for Tua that he could get it? It's this guy, McGenius. And this guy doesn't do everything that he, I just, it's McDaniel. I mean, Tua is what he is. That's it. The run game against Baltimore was good enough. When we ran the ball, we ran it efficiently. Whether it was Wilson, whether it was Achane, they both ran the ball really good. And the rest, and the receiver, Tyreek dropping the ball. But ultimately, it's Mike McDaniel, bro. Mike McDaniel's a bozo. And you can't have a bozo who coddles our quarterback and everybody else on the team, not just him. There's no accountability. You never see a mean face. I don't care how much he curses on. I don't even watch that. I refuse to watch Hard Knocks. Dumbest idea ever, bro. You're out there and you're showing people and people.
I hate listening to McDaniel's pressers.
That shit is so clown to
His
me,
pressers
man.
suck. Hard Knocks, he sounds a little different. But
so
you think it's McDaniel G? What's your take?
Damn, he needs to be in public scrutinizing, saying, "Man, it's not acceptable."
Before G goes, I just want to say this. I want everybody to say, to answer this, because I think I kind of figured out what every other, what those winning teams figured out. And then after everybody say what they want to say, I'm gonna tell you guys, and then we'll talk about it.
Go ahead, Greg.
It's everybody, honestly. Oh wait, what's the question again?
Why do you think the offense struggles against the teams it struggled against?
The offense struggles because we just keep force feeding Tyreek every game this year. We're always going to it's either Tyreek or Waddle, one of those two guys. We're not getting everybody involved. I get it. Tyreek wants his 2K yards. I understand that. But I feel like get other people more involved. We're not Tyreek. I mean, look at Tyreek's kind of banged up. Waddle's banged up. If we're going to other guys, those are our two best receivers. I agree with that. But man, we need them at the end of the year. We can't have these guys being banged up. Brandon Waddle will be back for the playoffs, but Tyreek's banged up. If Tyreek goes down against the Bills, let's say, we're done. We got to get the ball to the other guys. McDaniel's, we're running the ball great, but when Tua's throwing the ball, like if you notice on some of these throws to Waddle and Hill, Hill's sometimes triple team. He's got 3 guys around him, 2 guys around him, and we're throwing
Fucking
high.
G, bro.
We're Waddle, we're getting Waddle and Tyreek in these
Fucking G.
spots where I think I saw it on the Monday night against the Titans, where Waddle was like sandwiched, kind of. Like we can't do
Preach,
that.
dog. Preach.
Spread the ball around.
Yep.
Shake
Let
G,
me-
you a
let-
dangerous
real
boy.
quick. Let me.
One
ask
thing I
this
want
guy.
to say though, and one thing I do kind of agree. I don't want Tua to call the whole offense, but I do want him, because at the end of the day, here's how they're saying how Brian Flores and the Patriots defense beat the Rams. So what happened was they'll put out a certain look, and then Sean McVay will call the play based on the defense, the look the defense is giving them. Once the mic shuts off, because there's a delay where you can't communicate, they audible, and now they're gonna they audible out into the defense, whatever. Now, Jared Goff, he's gonna continue with that play that he was gonna originally go with, and it plays right into the defense hands when they audible it. You know what I'm saying? So what he needs to do is, if from the line of scrimmage, hey, listen, you need to, if you don't like the look that you're seeing and you know it's not going to work, change it to something else. Because if the defense audibles into something else and gives you a different look from what McDaniels gave you, you need to change the play, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to help. You know what I'm saying? That's what Tua needs to do, is learn how to audible and change the play to something else. If he knows, if he sees something that he doesn't like, audible and change it to something else instead of doing the same play he knows is not going to work.
Right. All right, fellas. Thank you.
All right, man. Thank
let
you.
me say this. Let me say this. So, one thing when you're a defense watching film on an offense, as as dynamic and as you got amazing speed like the Miami Dolphins, right? One thing you look for is tendencies. Now, Greg was onto it, bro. He was spot on. The one tendency that Miami had, and it's the one reason why people say, "Oh, McDaniel can't adjust." No, the one tendency they had, they kept running these timing routes, bro. These timing routes is a one read type of play. There is no second read. That's why the windows you have to be. That's why they utilize to a skill set, because you have to be perfect on your timing to get those balls in the route. Now, if you go against a defense like the Baltimore Ravens, and Mike McDaniel likes to run that route often, that's the only thing you need to do. Now, maybe early in the season they would what you call that? They would pre-snap, post-snap, rotate coverages. But then later in the season, they kind of figured out that Mike McDaniel has a tendency to run these timing in routes, which we see often. We saw this last year too. It's the reason why the Buffalo Bills, that first matchup in week 3, they were shocked because it was the first time going against that type of offense. The second time around, Buffalo was ready. Now this season, when Buffalo faced them this season, they were ready. They knew that Mike McDaniel had that tendency, and it's not that Mike McDaniel he couldn't adjust. He just couldn't get off that timing route, right? So that's the problem. Now, the things that need to be changed, and trust me, you can win this game against the Buffalo Bills if you do this. Because going back to that Dallas Cowboy game, that last drive was a beautiful drive. And you look at that drive, there was no, there was some sprinkle in, those timing routes. But you, like Greg said, distributed the ball to who? Braxton Berrios. You distributed to Cedric Wilson. You let Tua drop back. You let him see the field, and you let him make decisions. He's got that quick release.
Mm-hmm.
Let him make those decisions. Those in timing routes, that's just a one read play. There is no second read. Once you miss that window, that's why you see him jitter. You see him nervous in the pocket, because he knows after that one read, now you got to scramble and figure everything out, because that timing routes are timing routes. You have to be on time with your throw. It doesn't mean timing. You miss that window and you go to the second window. There is no second window. That's that first.
That makes
window.
sense, yeah, because you
And
got to hit your back foot and let it fly.
right. And I think that's the one thing in Baltimore and what you call it, teams like the Tennessee Titans, who are well coached by a defensive-minded head coach like Rabel, who played for the the Patriots with that legendary, one of the legendary defenses Bill Belichick had with the all those guys they had. That's the reason why Miami is being limited, is those tendencies, those in routes. How many times have we seen those in routes, Greg? How many times have we seen those in routes? This not just this season, last season as well. Too often, bro. You see those in routes too often. It's to Waddle, it's to Hill. You saw one to the tight end, Doran Smythe, where he got lucky, he caught that ball, but you saw that safety closing in on him because that's what the defensive coordinator Mike McDaniel taught them. You say you don't need to refigure this offense out. Just close the window. When you see Tua looking that way, that's a timing route. He doesn't have a second option. That's just the first option, and that's it. You close that window.
I get it. That makes sense, Q. We'll see if they adjust, but that makes some sense if they close the windows on them.
But really, if you go back to that, if you guys have a chance, go back to that last drive in the Cowboys. That was a beautiful drive. They made it look easy because Tua was he didn't have to always force it down to Tyreek and Waddle. They let him drop back and they let him see the field. You saw him going through 1, 2, 3, all the way down to his check down. And I don't know if I figured it out, but that's just me, watching film, and I'm just bringing it up to the panel, and I want y'all to talk about it. And
I agree with you though, Q. But that's what I'm saying. He needs about him modeling more, about changing the play more.
And those picks, I put it on Tua because you make that decision to throw it. You saw that window close. I know he saw that window close when he saw the safety, the linebacker, and the corner, close that gap. And you still made the decision to throw it. That's all.
Yeah, that was a problem. That was why there were 3 guys there. And you've seen him squeeze it in sometimes, but that didn't work that time.
Yeah. But let me ask you this, Q.
But the problem
how do you know?
the problem is.
Hold on, Q. Let me ask you a question. How do you know that Tyreek Hill is
the problem is?
Listen, believe in me. I don't care if I'm triple covered. Just throw it to me anyway.
Well, he should know better.
That's what they've been saying this entire season. That's what Tua's saying. I gotta trust that my guys are gonna be there. No. That's why and people had a problem with him saying that. Like, what? You're gonna throw that ball even in triple coverage, and then that's the problem right there. And I'm putting it in on McDaniel because you gotta, man. You wanna win against Buffalo. They're gonna prepare for that timing route. You got to let Tua drop back, let him see the field, and let him, make his own choices, right? I got this guy here, this guy
I hear
here.
you, Q. Yeah, and that's what Shake says too. We got to get these 2 other cats on, Q, but we appreciate that perspective, brother.
All right, fellas. Y'all be good now.
Next
hey,
time,
G,
bro.
you a dangerous man, G. You a dangerous man, boy.
He's so damn dangerous. See you later, yo.
But hey, you know what? One thing, I'm glad you gave him back his emo hoodie.
Yeah, he got his emo hoodie where it belongs with him. I got over my depression against the Titans because I already knew it was coming. You feel me? And now I'm adjusted. Cube, what up? We got Cube and we got Cube up in here. You feel me?
Yo, what's really happening, man? How y'all feeling for real?
What's good, bro? We're good, man. How you feeling?
Oh, man, I'm chilling, man. I'm really doing my best. But I want to say this, man. And I've been enjoying the show. And Larry, I hope you stick around during the off season, man, because I really do appreciate what you do. But
I'm gonna do it this year. This year I'm gonna stick around. I got something in the works.
No doubt, that's what's up. But I do want to say this, man. Like, we can tiptoe through the tulips all we want, but the truth of the matter is, we should have gotten Lamar when the opportunity presented itself. We can blame the guys we have. That's loser talk. That's loser talk, bruh. At the young age of 38, what I see is more of the same. There's 50 times Tua's only option was to take a sack or throw it away, whereas Lamar Jackson can extend drives. There was a dude in the chat telling me talk about some, oh, I've seen some of his games where he's only had about 60 rushing yards. So what? If all of those 60 rushing yards that they come on third down to where you only need 3, well, guess what? If he does it 10 times, that's 30 yards. Knock it off. I don't want to hear it. Now, listen, I like what the sister Nate, what she was talking about when she came on, when she was talking about keeping coaches and all of that. That's cool. I love it. It's a bit fancy, but guess what? We've seen Peyton Manning and Tom Brady go to different teams and win Super Bowls. So I have to say, emphatically, miss me with that. I'm good on that. Give me the guy that can do it and can prove that he can do it in the quarterback. Facts. Because see, what people want to act like is that the players that you have on the field don't directly affect the game. The players that you have directly on the field affect the game. Yes, coaching and planning, all of that does wonders. But what happens when the coach, when Peyton Manning says, "Nah, we're finna run this play," and we run that and it works? Because see, you know how the Seahawks lost the Super Bowl by listening to the damn idiot. Oh, my bad. By listening to the idiot coach talk about throwing the ball when they should have just ran it.
Hey, hold on. Hey, Cube. Real quick, let me interrupt you for 1 second. I'm so glad you said that. That same situation that you're talking about, Carroll treated Russell the same way McDaniel treats Tua.
Facts.
And if you can read, I read articles where the Legion of Boom talks about and Marshawn Lynn talk about why that team broke up. And it's because of just what you just said. But go ahead.
Right. And see, that's real. Because now, see, watch this, though. When you have that ability to wave off the coach and call your own plays, guess who you become? You become Tom Brady. You become Peyton Manning. But what happens when you become that person? The wins and the losses, they all fall on you. We're the only people, and it's been a long time since we've been anything. We're the only demented group of fans that will sit here and say, oh, no, we shouldn't have took that 2-time MVP in Lamar Jackson, and we should just try to figure out what we have in Tua Tagovailoa. Stop it. Knock it off. I don't want to hear it. No, nobody worth their salt would say right now today that they would rather have Tua than Lamar Jackson, except our fans.
No, you're
the
right.
Only time,
not our
the
fans,
only,
but souvenirs. That I'll say.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't want to blame it on them because a lot of people that weren't souvenirs, a lot of them have actually converted over because Tua has had a good season, and mainly he's had a good season because he's been healthy, which I applaud him for that. I definitely applaud him for that. But what I was going to say is the only game that I remember that it wasn't blamed on Peyton Manning is when Mike Vanderjagt missed that kick, I think, against Baltimore, and then they blamed it on him. But see, our fans, we're the ones that can dismiss a 2-time MVP to say, you know what, let's stick around and keep to it. You blame the CEO for when a company fails. But see, when you have a football franchise, there's actually 2 CEOs. There's one that writes the checks, and there's ones that throws the football. Tua is the CEO that throws the football on the field. So that's the person that you blame. Because when he was throwing those 50 and 60-yard go routes to Tyreek Hill, we loved it. We enjoyed it. We thought it was the greatest thing ever, myself included. But at the same time, when he's throwing the ball into the dirt, when he's throwing the ball to where guys can barely catch it, we have to do the same thing. But we don't want to do that. We want to try to protect Tua Tagovailoa. I'm not one that protects him. If you stink, if you suck, let's call it out and let's try to get better. But if we see that this is your ceiling, then we have to look back at a mistake that we made and say that we should have gotten Lamar Jackson, period. Now, this is my last thing, and I'm going to bounce after this. McNerd is the only one that can unlock, or that has been able to unlock and break down the walls of Tua's mental fragility. He dealt with a coach in his first 2 years that wasn't doing that nonsense, that wasn't allowing him to relax it. No. He wasn't allowing him to do that. So now you got McNerd comes in. He allows everybody to run rampant, run wild, do whatever they want to do. Now you have a physically weak team with no physicality. You have a team that gives up You got a dude that's putting your star players on the field at the end of games with 3 minutes left.
Down 40 to 49-19 with 3 minutes left.
And his excuse was, oh, well, there's just sometimes you got to finish games. Well, can't we finish those games without our starters so they don't get hurt when we're on the cusp of a playoff? Like, see, man, knock it off, bro. Like, I just don't, I don't come into these spaces a lot and come on here and talk a lot because, like I say, at the young age of 38, I've seen a lot of losing, bro. Like my big bro, he hit me. He was upset. He was like, man, we're losing again. And we should have did this. We should have did that. I say, bro, you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to watch these last 2 games that we're promised. We're promised the Buffalo game and we're promised the playoff game. I ain't tripping off nothing else. I ain't tripping off no other game because there's only 2 games promised to us. And then we're going to have to deal with golf and soccer for the rest of the darn summer. So I'm just going to enjoy these 2 games. If we win another one, let's go. Fins up. But I've seen a lot of losing, man. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it, bro. I'm
sick of it. Yeah. And meanwhile, AB in here talking about his preference for different dudes that he likes to visit at the truck. I'm just letting y'all know. I mean, I don't know what he's really on right now. Talking about delivering pizzas. He's into some erotic exotics. You know what I'm saying? I'm just letting you know. That's AB. So
hey, it is what it is, man. Shouts out to the real Fin fans, man. I'm always gonna keep it a buck. I'm always gonna talk real. I had a channel talking about the Fins, but I just had to let it go. I was too emotional involved, and I know that telling the truth about the team does not really garner people or subscribers or fans. I know what it is, so I just had to stop. I had to leave it alone. But man, I want to tell you, Larry, Lucci, all you guys, man, Shake, man, I love what y'all do. I be at work sometime listening to y'all, man. And a lot of times I be saying, man, these dudes is delusional as hell. But I be listening to y'all. I disagree sometimes. I definitely disagree sometimes, but I rock with y'all because it's Dolphin content. And when it's in the season, I'm listening to content. Big O, stop listening to him. You would think he worked for the organization.
He definitely
you would think Big O.
Yeah, he's a mouthpiece. He has the problem with Big O. I'll just say right now. And by the way, AB, we're just playing in Cube. I hear you. Even if we're delusional, you listen, whatever. It's all good. But Big O used to have like a good lineup of like actual beat writers, but they all dropped off his show, bro. Like Omar's not on there, Joe Shad's not on there. Like none of those cats are on there. So I listen to Omar and Poop Part, even though Omar is always just for no reason arguing, but I still just watch it.
I know.
Yeah, but I get you. Dolphins content, bro. There's so much good Dolphins content out there, and I'm glad everybody's getting a piece.
Yeah, most def, man. But let me let somebody up. You got anybody else that want to come on, man? Because
I got
go ahead
Fred
and
back here, Cube. So I'm gonna let
no
him
doubt,
on, bro. But I appreciate you. I appreciate your thoughts, your comments, and I 100% appreciate you watching and hopping up, man. I hope you come back.
Hey, no doubt, man. Appreciate it, man. Happy New Year to you guys, and keep pumping out that content, man. Appreciate it.
Happy New Year, my brother. Thank you, sir. Fury fam, strong as hell, as always. As always. Fred, what's good, bro?
Hey, what's up, Larry, man?
We got a Bills fan representing.
What's good, bro?
What's up,
Bills
Larry?
fans are welcome, man, as long as they keep it real.
No, Larry, no, Larry. No, they Shake's playing around, bro. I'm a Dolphins fan.
Why are you messing around with Fred?
Yeah, he's messing with you, Larry.
All right, Fred, never mind.
Happy holidays, Larry.
You too, brother.
It's a pleasure to meet you, bro.
You too.
I'd like to give my assessment on why the offense has been struggling lately.
Let's hear it, brother.
Especially against power teams and way over 500 teams, man. And to me, it's quite simple, man. That our first 15, first 20 plays, okay, they're scripted, and the offense looks good when it's going. To me, it's scripted. It looks good. But now, okay, these better teams, they'll take a few jabs in the face, two couple of punches, but then they lock in on it, Larry. You know what I'm saying? And they see what he does and what he's doing, and they're just easily able to, counter it, Larry. He's been getting it off against the lesser teams because maybe the teams don't have the talent, or they just stay in the same offense and get torched. But these superior teams, man, they, like I said, they take punches to the face, and then it all comes to an end. You know what I mean? And
no, I agree with you because I read that somewhere too, Fred, recently. And we all know that teams script the first bunch of plays, but it made sense.
Yeah.
They said he scripts like the first, 25 plays, and that's when we always look crisp and good, aside from a game or two. And it makes sense. The first two drives in those tough games will go toe to toe,
right,
and then we'll kind of fall off. I think part of it is that he scripts it and then they adjust, Fred. I think the other part is that people have brought up, we are, like a lot of teams, a play from in front type of team. Our defense plays from in front. Our offense plays from in front. When we got to play from behind, we have the firepower to do it, but we start pressing, and we're not used to that energy, and we can't function in that energy, and we can never hang with the tougher teams. And I'm not talking about physically tough, mentally tough.
Right. You the man, Larry. You the man, bro. And so, and it is what it is, man. So, and the way, I think to all to counter that is, okay, man, you see these linebackers, man. You see them cheating back, bro. You're gonna have to do something yourself, man, to make a to change it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Take 2 steps and take off, man. Give us 8 yards. Give them something else to think about. Because they're already thinking ahead of you what you're going to do. This is what it is to me, Larry. Now when it gets there, now when we're in the red zone, 10-yard line, bro, this is where we do need you to take shit upon yourself, man. It's clustered down there.
We've been struggling in the red zone, bro. Bad.
Exactly, Larry. Take a jab step to the right, drop back, make it look like you look, but go ahead and find a little soft spot and go ahead and dive. I'm not asking you to take on anybody, but look, man, give it a chance. Give it a chance. Don't give me a throwaway ball out the side of the end zone that your wide receiver is not going to have a chance to get, and it's not going to be picked off. Okay, that's the easy way to go out, bro. We need you to really step up and make something happen. And another thing, Larry, man, to me, your play, that kind of play rolls over to your teammates. When they see you do things like that, it ain't nothing they won't do for you to make a play. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's just me, Larry. I mean, I seen the game with Lamar, man, and after the game, man, I've even watched some Ravens locker room stuff, man, and it's just that everybody gravitates to Lamar, man. You know what I'm saying? They'll run through a brick wall for the guy, man, because they know he'll do it for them. You know what I mean, Larry?
Yeah, I hear you, bro. I do. I hear you.
That's all I got on it, Larry, man. I mean,
I hear you, bro. Thanks for sharing those thoughts, my brother. Thanks for coming up. I hope you come back on again, man.
Hey, Larry, thanks for having me. Happy New Year to everybody up on that panel, bro.
Yeah, but Fred, I got nothing but love for you. I only joke with people I like, so I got nothing but love for
Shake,
you.
I know Shake, man. Hey, Shake, I always got love for you, bro. You know what I mean? With whatever goes on, Shake, come on, man. When we talk the next day or whatever, bro.
He's another, like I said, Fred's a Jersey guy, so he's in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, Larry,
I love it,
right,
bro.
Larry. That's right, Larry.
I'm in Newark, man. I love it. I love it.
I'm in South Jersey, Larry, man. Like 5 minutes away from Ben Franklin, going to Philadelphia.
I know that area down there too, like Cherry Hill, Camden. I got some friends down there. I go down there every now and then for a cheesesteak down to Donkeys.
Yeah. Oh, Donkeys. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Donkeys is spot, man. They got good IPAs. They got a good bar.
Yeah.
And them cheesesteaks with the round rolls. I mess with it.
Man.
Yeah, I'll be down there soon.
Larry, thanks for having me, Larry. It's been a pleasure, bro.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon.
Hey, I got some redemption bourbon for our redemption next week, baby.
I love it.
Like Marley said, redemption songs.
I like it. And that is movies coming out for Mountie. What up?
Larry K, what's going on? Lucci, Chase.
Hey, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
What's going on? Greg, what's up, bro? What's up, man? How y'all doing?
Greg's in the closet right now, hanging out.
Yeah, Greg's in the closet. Got his hoodie up. I gave him back the hoodie because I was done with that. I dealt with my grief against the Titans. Now I'm just out here dropping bombs and talking nonsense with the fellas.
He can't let his mom see him smoking Pall Malls, so he goes in the bathroom.
Like from the old lady at
standing on the toilet right now, man, like this.
He got some Pall Malls and some lottery scratch offs from that customer service desk, man. and he got some ice cream from the ice cream
There he
aisle.
is.
I used to block the
Yeah.
shelves at the grocery stores. You know, I'll tell you this.
Not to mention, he's texting the cougars that he's picked up from his customers.
Oh yeah, he's a cougar monster, this guy. But one thing I'll tell you about grocery stores, people might not know this. I don't know how I know this. I'm just letting you know this. You know that thing that you melt the shrink wrap on when you wrap like produce or meat or whatever? You can take the top off that and grill a steak right on it. Don't ask me how I know, but it's possible. Mountie, what's good, bro?
Hey man, look, we got punched in the mouth Sunday. Listen, we lost. It still puzzles me as to why McDaniel had his starters in the game and we're down by 38. Like, dude, really? Come on, bro. You got to set your pride aside and like, look, let's chalk this up. We take a L. Let's get ready for next week. He did it in the Buffalo game in the beginning of the season. Dude, we're down by 28 or something like that. Dude, why is Tua, your injury-prone quarterback, who the question mark is already out, can he last the whole season? Buffalo's coming after us. Dude, they're being very aggressive. Why?
They're going to be aggressive.
Why is he still in the game?
Mountie.
There's nothing to gain from
now,
that.
Mountie. I'm going to tell you why right now. Give me 2 seconds, and I'm going to tell you why. And I told everybody who was watching the game with me. Because they were all saying, it's not. I left at halftime. I came home because I didn't want to watch anymore. I said, we don't score before the half, it's over. And then, you don't remember last year? You don't remember last year? The Buffalo game last year, the Baltimore game last year gave these people all kinds of crazy hope. Like, that's a regular thing that we're just going to be these comeback kids. That's why, Mountie. They remember that
it was Lucci. It was 30. We're down by 3.
This is Jim Harbaugh. This guy's been in Super Bowls. He's done he's not letting that same thing happen 2 years in a row. When it was down like that, we went down just like we did last year. I said, it's not, dude. This isn't last year. That was our one shot. That was it. And the same thing with Buffalo when we came back, the comeback of the century, which is like you said, why did he do it against Buffalo? Because he was delusional to think that it would happen 2 years in a row. That was a one-time fluke thing, and it just was. Last year was a great year. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's why, because he felt like we did it last year. Why not this year?
And Buffalo's going to come in.
I think just to keep it a buck with you, I think if we fizzle out the end of the season, you can't tell me Stephen Ross is not side-eyeing motherfuckers. You can't tell me that. He's just not. Dude, his decision making, McDaniel's decision, he's just showing that he's not ready to be a head coach. Maybe a coordinator, not a head coach.
Hilarious that shakes.
You never know which one of us, bro. That's why we keep it like that. Never know which one of us is highlighting comments, putting up pictures. Crazy.
Sorry, man.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like, he may not be ready for that. He may not be ready for that assignment. Being a head coach.
Guy. He's an offensive coordinator.
You cannot be buddy. You cannot be buddy with grown men. You got to hold them accountable, make them do what they need to be doing. And you got to be a disciplinarian. You can't just be buddy with everybody.
Nah. Pete Carroll ruined the dynasty like that, man. Doing that for Russell Wilson. Coddling Russell Wilson is what destroyed that Seattle dynasty. Because all them guys would have took less money. They've all said it, and I believe it. Sherm, Marshawn, all them guys said they'd have took less money to keep winning. And because Carroll wanted to coddle Russell Wilson is what destroyed that dynasty.
And not handing it off at the
accountability. No, because he wanted, and Larry, if you remember me saying the last year, I felt like this is what McDaniel did to abandon the run game. He wanted to build Tua's confidence. So he wanted Tua to be able to throw the ball. It's on record. It's on one of these videos. I said that. And now look at what they said. What they believe he wanted Russell Wilson to get that MVP, and that's why he did the pass instead of the run. Because he wanted to build his confidence. He wanted to, and listen, that's what's happening right here. And it's not a winning formula. Sorry.
I just still think he's coming back regardless because it's hard to change him out when he's running this offense. I'm not, I'm listening to your guys' thoughts.
Hey,
I'm just
Shake.
saying.
Hey, Shake. By chance,
Yes, sir.
hey, Shake, were you in the spaces this morning with Lewis and them on Twitter?
I heard some of it.
Because it sound I was in there for a few minutes, and it was just shocking to hear me that the people that the Tua espousers were even entertaining the conversation of possibly moving on from him and or McDaniel. I'm like, oh wow, how quickly have our dispositions changed? Wow, when our quarterback can't rise to the occasion in big moments, wow, they've had enough. We've seen enough. We've
No,
had
I've
this
seen it. I've been in those
guy.
spaces a little bit, Mounty, and I've seen dudes who are hard Tua supporters kind of just at least saying that there may be some cause for pause in those struggles.
Larry, so you have received.
Yeah, I've been in with Lewis. They were on CB 83
Michael K.
was
Michael
saying
K's comment. They put that on the screen.
Lucci, I'm just saying, Shake, I'm just saying, Greg, I'm just saying.
Man, Mike is out. Mike is crazy, bro. Mike just slays cats.
I'm just
Sorry,
saying.
Mike's messing with the mic.
I'm just saying. I look, but see,
By the way, Michael K. This Thursday when we do the preview show, I'm extending that. He was on the last time we played Buffalo.
Yeah, you gotta have him on,
extending
bro.
that same invitation to you this Thursday.
I'm excited to listen to that, bro.
Hey,
I can't wait to hear that. With
Hey, hold up,
on
Mounty.
it. I just like to see El Cap in that jersey, man. Can't get enough of that picture.
Mounty, Q said put a name on it. I don't know if you're reading the comments, Mounty.
I'm just saying. Listen,
he said put a name on it though. He wants you to put an address on it.
There were several people. There were several people, Tua espousers, that were saying, "Hey, well, could this be a possibility? We need to move on." But hey, here's some grown man talk here. Here's some real talk here. Okay, say for example, we go into next year. If Tua fizzles out at the end of the year, okay. First of all, Lucci, let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
How the fuck do you get hurt on a slide, bro? We've been trying to keep Tua healthy for 4 years, and you get hurt on a slide? How do you get hurt sliding, bro?
Now, now hold on. Now I'm gonna say this, and everybody knows I don't cape for Tua, but I'll say this. My guy tried to do something. He tried to extend it. Once he saw them 3 guys coming at him, he slid. At that point, he was all in, and he did the best thing he could do was get down. And I mean, had it would have been, listen, me personally, had it would have been this game determines whether we get the #1 seed or not, I didn't want no slide. I need you to just take the head up fade with everybody, and what happens happens. But it wasn't, and he got down, and I mean, my guy's he's not the most athletic person in the world.
Lucci,
he was all in at that point, Mounty. He had no choice.
Lucci, it seemed like you put lipstick on a pig, bro.
I'm trying to. Listen, it is what it is. He had to get down. He didn't need to get flipped. He got hurt sliding. So imagine if he would have stood up and tried to, what would have happened?
Take a tackle. Like, oh my God.
I mean, it was the
we know who Tua is. There's no arguing about it. Tua is what he is.
What's up, Anthony? You're the last caller to sneak in here.
Anthony know what time it is. My guy's name Anthony.
I'm gonna say this.
He knows. Yeah. See?
My bad, y'all. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing, man?
What's up, Anthony?
I'm gonna say this real quick before I go.
So I'll make sure you got on, bro.
I appreciate it. Now, I'm gonna say this before I get back into work, man. We know what the problem is. It's been the problem for the last few years with Tua.
What is it?
He can't win games. He can't win them. Even like if we go back and look at Tom Brady and all the other players, they win with nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Look at the Browns, man. The Browns down to like they 4 out of 5 of their linemen are out, and they're still balling. You know what I mean? You got even the rookies that Tua has played against. They've outplayed Tua. All of them. Brock Purdy, he reached the field. Tua, we've been having the same problem. And you know what's the problem, because even when we lose one coach for him, it's the same problem still going on. The only thing against Tua is probably he's throwing the ball down the field a little bit more because Tyreek Hill forces him to do it. You know what I mean? Do I think Tua is a good quarterback? Yeah, but he's a backup to me, man. We should have got
I got
Lamar.
something I gotta say right now. I don't know if anyone's watching Hard Knocks right now, but fucking McDaniel, I'm sorry for the F-bomb, had Skylar Thompson act as Lamar Jackson.
Wow.
That's all I gotta hear. That's all I gotta hear, bro.
We had every opportunity, dude.
Finish your tape.
We had every opportunity. We blew it. I don't think we're gonna beat Buffalo. We better pray that Pittsburgh wins, and we better pray for whoever else to win for them to get up out of there. But I can't see us going past anybody else, man, in the playoffs. Because with Tua at quarterback and with Fangio frauding it out, I mean, we in a bind right now, dog. You might as well hang it up, man. I've just lost all hope. This whooping that we just got, this is only a preview of the playoffs. This is a preview of the playoffs, man. You want to risk that again? We just lost Chubby. We lost Chubby, man.
That's bad.
For McDaniel. I mean,
we don't have Howard. Even though Howard's been getting toasted some, but he's still better than Eli.
We should have traded him 3 years ago. We should have traded him and got a top pick 3 years ago.
Yeah, but without
we should have done that. But no,
Apple's
what we're saying is without him, without Chubb, without Jalen Phillips, we're in trouble on defense.
We don't. But whose fault is that though? Whose fault? Come on now.
It's Mike McDaniel's fault. That's all.
There's some
God, dude.
There's some bad luck.
I could take Howard. Maybe
we can't control that. Howard, we can't control that. Chubb, we could have absolutely controlled that.
Exactly. Yeah.
We could have absolutely controlled that. But I feel like with Skylar Thompson or Mike White, we got the same shot as Tua against Buffalo. I mean, in my personal opinion.
I don't know about that, man. But see, that's the only reason why we get those quarterbacks to, they know that Tua is better than both those quarterbacks. That's the only reason why we got them, so they try to prove something out of Tua. We're not proving anything. We're doing the same thing over and over. What they call insanity. The same thing over and over for the past 20-some years, man. How long are we going to keep going through this, man? We had every opportunity 3 years ago.
I'll tell you what, we're going to keep going through it for the next couple of years. I promise you that.
We're going to pay Tua. They're going to pay him. And when we pay Tua, I'm hanging it up, dog. I'm throwing everything I got at Dolphin stuff. I'm throwing it away.
Mikey McDaniel,
I'm done.
He's coming back. He's got his airs.
I'm tearing up everything. We better not pay him.
That orange tag is coming back onto the field, dragging on the grass, bro. We got the Capris, Kid Capri.
My boy said he's doing everything.
Well, I don't care. We're running.
We're limited. This is by far the best team that we done had in years. The best team we done had in years, bro.
Yo, it's a good team. Bro, those injuries did hurt us. I mean, it is.
God. We lose Tyreek Hill. It's over. We darn near lost him.
Well, imagine if we had Wynn and Hunt and Phillips and Chubb though. Right now, I mean, we'd be so.
They did say they seen Wynn. They said on Poupar, whatever on that show, they were saying that they saw Wynn in the locker room the other day.
Yeah, Omar and Poupar. The thing is, we could only bring him or Baker back. Can't bring any more than one.
Bring that lineman in, dog. Bring the lineman in, dog. I'm sorry, that linebacker. We need a linebacker too. We just in we're in a bind right now. Don't get me wrong, David Long is good, but man, we need a real you see how Queen and all them are playing. We need a killer back there, dog.
Yeah,
we need a killer, and we had every opportunity to get the linebacker
membership. If everybody's interested in that, Suicide is offering Bill's membership. That's what he's saying.
Hey, you fellas, y'all have a good night, man. Y'all stay cool, all right?
Good night, brother.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of your night at work.
Good night, my brother. All right, guys.
Let me just take this. I'm gonna take my one strike. Michael K, you're my guy. Take your Bills membership and pound it up your ass, my guy. I'll take that strike for the channel.
I like
it. Just so you know.
I like it. All right.
Hey, he might take you up on that offer too.
All right, fellas, man. Yo, everybody, if you have not subscribed, if you're in the building but you haven't subscribed, click subscribe. This is what we do every Tuesday at 7. Shake, go ahead and plug the Thursday night show, bro. Let them know what we
And
got
this Thursday, like I said, this Thursday, we're gonna be talking about the Buffalo Bills and Michael K. You know, you got an open invitation to come here, and you know, like we did last time. So
yeah, he was
I know
quick to come last
you'll
time
be up
after
for it.
that win. Mike shows up. I'll give him
What
that.
time is
Mike
it, Shakes?
shows up.
What time is the
7
show?
o'clock, baby. 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock on Thursday. Join the happy hour, 7 o'clock on Thursday, right here on the Phin-Addict Fury channel. G, what's up?
Much love, Q.
I'm just gonna get my final thought real quick. Here's my final thought. If Skylar Thompson in practice acts like Josh Allen, we're doomed this week.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see him imitating Josh. It's just sick. It's weird. It's twisted.
Damn, what the heck happened? He was cut off again.
I think
Damn.
Tunon's getting to Larry.
There, he's back. He's back. He's back.
My bad. Guys, I'm not overly confident in this game, but we got to try to win it. That's the only way forward for this team. We'll see what happens. Buffalo's coming in hungry. They were coming for this division. I told you what was going to happen. Let's see what we could do. If you guys are in here and you still haven't subscribed, I have no idea why. You're having a good time. It's fun. You like what we say. You hate what we say. Either way, you have a kick out of it, and you get to have fun in the comments and talk a whole lot of trash. So let's go. Hit subscribe. 2-1-on got me again. It's crazy. They're hacking my computer. They're all over. They got the whole place bugged. I don't know if it's them or some other entity that's onto me. I don't know. Just hit subscribe, hit like, join the channel. We got a lot in store for you, even in the offseason. But before the offseason, we got a little playoff run we got to do. So I'll see everybody soon. These guys will see you on Thursday, man.
Real quick, this is my last thought. I don't know if you remember when Mike Tyson met Stone Cold Steve Austin in 1998. Well, check this out. Michael K., if you don't understand what Lucci's telling you, I got a little sign language for you. So here's to you.
That's right.
To a side, we'll see you later.
That's a smart play because it won't get us a strike.
Yes. See y'all on Thursday, man. I'll see you guys on after the game and then on Monday. Later, guys.
I know you heard me on the radio flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best